When there's no more room in hell, the dead walk the earth.
Brains. Arg. Gnome. Brains. Gnome. Brains.
Hello guys, welcome back to another video.
Say hello to George, everyone. Gnome. Brains. Say goodbye, George. Brains.
Yeah.
Me and Josh are coming together once again to talk about the most influential horror director of the past 100 years.
George A. Romero.
He's a personal favourite of mine, and this young man here shouldn't be allowed to watch these movies, but he arm wrestled me and he won. So he got to watch them all. This great director has basically dedicated his filmography to blessing us with these political and social metaphors through zombie form.
Words.
In other words, we're going to be talking about some great movies. It's the Zombie Saga, directed by, like Josh says, George A. Romero. And what is the first film we're going to be talking about today, George? Josh?
Oh, George the Zombie Gnome.
Yeah, George the Zombie Gnome.
Previously in this video.
Yep, George is going to tell us all about it, and so is Josh. Go on, Josh.
Well, Night of the Living Dead is basically based around 7 survivors in a farmhouse in this basically the centre of the woods. All they have to do is hold out the entire night before the zombies break in.
And one by one, each of the survivors in this cabin in the woods is getting eaten, bitten, turning into zombies. And it all boils down to one kind of final hero who's left standing at the end, ready to survive until the morning. And in this film, it's a black man, which is basically what George Romero was trying to show us, is that even the black man can be a hero. And this was obviously during the 60s, which is during a very political time. Yeah, it's a very political film, and it's a very important message, I think.
Yeah.
Night of the Living Dead is a fantastic film. It cost about £5 to make. But nonetheless, it's directed extremely well. There's camera angles all over the place. Because of how cheap it is, yeah, the zombies just kind of look like this. Like,
They just look like old people, just like...
That's basically it. But there's some great camera shots where the camera's like really zoomed in like this on their eyes. And you think, oh, shit, man, that's really scary. I don't want to be in that room. Quickly close the door before he bites my arm off. Night of the Living Dead, great movie. And at the time, if you were growing up during the 60s and you watched this film, you were thinking, oh, that's not a bad film. But little did you know that one of the greatest horror movies ever to be created was going to come out next from George Romero. And what is that film, Joshua?
Dawn of the Dead.
But what's the premise of Dawn of the Dead, Josh?
Well, there's a group of survivors that are basically... Well, there's a black man, a guy who can drive a helicopter, his girlfriend, and this other guy, can't remember his name, or what he looks like in any way.
So in Dawn of the Dead, again, there's a group of survivors. Where do they decide to hang out this time, boy?
Well, they use their helicopter and land upon the roof of a shopping mall, which is enclosed with very little zombies.
So it gives these guys a chance to, one, survive extremely well, because the amount of supplies you can get in a shopping mall is pretty vast. I mean, you've got weapons, food, drink, clothes.
Let's just hope that they got a lot of stock in before the apocalypse began.
Yeah. Let's hope they ordered some stock in before the zombies decided to rise out the ground. Otherwise, they'll have to wait for the next transport to come in. But somehow I don't think they're going to arrive.
I wonder why.
The zombies in this film represent us perfectly, because they're like strobing around inside this shopping mall, looking in windows, pushing shopping trolleys around, as if they are us in our sad world that we live in, where we care more about what we're going to buy than life itself.
The zombies, are just pushing along shopping trolleys around it, banging on the windows, even though when there's no humans or brains in there. They're permanently just want to be in the shopping mall.
A certain piece of their humanity is still ticking around in their dead heads. So like Josh says, they're sort of crawling around the shopping centre with that horrible shopping centre music playing in the background. Pair of jeans. Like a mental imprint.
Clothes. Must buy some shoes that I do not need.
Yeah, it's a great little message. Look, humanity, look at what you've become. Because even when you die, all you want to do is look in shop windows and consume. Consume, consume, consume. And unfortunately, that's still the case today. And that's why this film still stands as being a very, very important movie. Don't you agree?
I strongly agree.
That leads us third into the George A. Romero zombie saga, which again is a mind-blowing movie. And this film is...
Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead.
You heard the boy, it's Day of the Dead. Talk about Day of the Dead, Josh.
Well, basically, there's a group of military people in an underground bunker where basically there's this doctor testing on zombies to basically find out how they work. And there's this one zombie called Bub, which is basically the smartest zombie and smartest being in the actual underground bunker.
He loves, don't you? You love Bub.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's the only one who seems to know this is how you should exist. He's basically surrounded by a bunch of humans who are too busy going, what are we going to do? This zombie is basically being trained like a chimpanzee by this doctor like Josh mentioned. And he's a very, very interesting character because it is like watching Planet of the Apes where you've got Caesar and he's being treated like a chimpanzee. But us as the viewer know that Caesar isn't just a chimpanzee. And all the people in Day of the Dead just look at Bub as being a zombie and there's no hope. He can never be trained or he can never go beyond his level of zombie. And we see that he is more evolved than any other zombie that we've seen before. Dr. Death has hope for these zombies. He thinks if the entire planet is going to become these zombies, then surely they can then learn to be humans again. He's teaching Bub these different typical human things about memory. Do you remember this, Bub? Look at this, Bub. It's a telephone. What do you do with a telephone, Bub? Bub.
Bub. He picks up the phone and listens.
He puts some earphones on Bub. I mean, Bub doesn't bite him because Bub's so used to Dr. Death. He just sort of looks at him like, and he puts his earphones on and Bub's like stood there listening to music. It's brilliant. Come by, my lord.
Oh, we don't want to go that far.
Josh says Bub's kind of... He's the main protagonist in this film, really. The funny thing is that the bad guy in this film is this nutty-ass soldier. He's going through this zombie apocalypse just like everyone else, but he can't cope with it, so all he wants to do is just kill everyone. And this is spoilers now. The good news is he actually gets it. How does he get it, Josh?
Bub picks up a gun and shoots him, and then all the other zombies kill him.
He's looking at Bub and just picked his gun up and he's thinking, you can't shoot me, you stupid zombie, you're thick as whatever. Bub just goes... And then what does Bub do when after the zombies rip this guy apart? He salutes. And I'm like, yeah, come on, Bub, you're our hero. And he just salutes his fellow zombies. And Bub walks off into the sunlight.
Sunset.
Yeah, it's a great movie. It's a very, very important thing. It teaches us humans that we should never take things at face value. If you look at a dog, don't think that the dog can't open the door by itself, because one day he will.
And they become humanoid, mutated dogs that will eventually rule the earth and use us as slaves instead of we using them as slaves.
Write that down, Josh. There's a film right there. The next in the saga is...
Land of the Dead, which is basically a sequel to Day of the Dead as more and more zombies are evolving. Like
Josh says, because of the Bub factor, it's almost like as the years go on, zombies become more and more self-aware, and the leader of the zombies in this one is a big black kind of petrol station zombie called Big Daddy. The only problem I've kind of got with this film is the makeup for Big Daddy, because he looks more like a vampire than a zombie. And again, how would a zombie evolve? Would he evolve? Would his face change? Would he age?
Maybe as the zombies evolve, their organs become back online and start repairing the body.
That's an interesting choice of words as well, actually.
Maybe to start repairing the body to make them more human, and eventually the zombies will just may as well be humans.
Big Daddy basically gathers a small army of zombies leading to this big, posh Trump Tower right in the centre of the city where all the rich and powerful people living in this kind of hedonistic, stuck-up-your-own backside kind of world. It's kind of a very pyramidal effect in the society within this film, because you've got all the rich people living in this tower, and then this rich tower is surrounded by like a shanty town of other humans who every day are finding new ways to survive. They've built their own little world, haven't they?
Yeah.
Like put zombies into cages and make them like fight each other for food.
Or in the main tower, they actually have a wrestling arena where they stick one of their like muscly guys and just throw in a zombie for him to battle.
Just for pure entertainment value. And again, another social message by George Romero. He is showing us how kind of sick us humans can be, in that even in a world of a complete and total apocalypse, humanity still find a way to try and rekindle their greed and their obsession with wealth. And it's just spot on. I mean, I could just talk about this all day, man. I'm so glad we're doing this video. Yeah, Land of the Dead is a brilliant film. It talks about wealth, hierarchy, and Big Daddy with the zombies. This march, a revolution. Not to gain money, but he's just trying to make a point.
I think there actually is a scene where Big Daddy's leading them, and obviously he comes across the shantytown and actually leads the zombies away from the shantytown towards the actual rich tower rather than eating the people who live in shantytown.
Yeah, too right, man.
Because he knows they're less fortune and there's no sport or whatever.
Yeah, like he's trying to make a point. This is about making a point. So Big Daddy could be a zombie, he could be anything, but he's trying to make a social point. He's trying to get to the big boys. I'm going to show you, get out of your ass, basically.
Or I'll eat you.
And that was Land of the Dead. Another great George Romero movie. Now there's a bit of a twist in the saga at this point. We go into a film called
Diary of the Dead.
Diary of the Dead actually takes the mick out of what we're doing right now. It's about social media, about making home movies. Obviously, the survivors in this film
are filming everywhere they go, and it's actually from the point of view of the person holding the camera.
Who's gonna put on the internet and watch this film because everyone's going to be bitten and turned into a zombie?
And everyone will be dead, and it'll just be pointless information.
But again, it's another point with George Romero. The character who's making the movie, he truly believes what he is doing will be seen by other people, because all we do in our day and age is sit at our computers and watch YouTube. Well,
you're doing right now.
Which you're doing right now. Watch out for that zombie over your shoulder. Diary of the Dead. Yeah, it's a good film. I don't think it's the best.
No.
But it belongs there. What time frame would you say that Diary of the Dead belongs in the saga?
Around Night of the Living Dead, but before Day of the Dead.
Yeah. So it's all about people who are on the run. They're taking every chance that they can get to survive. In this film, some of the characters do turn around to the guy with the handy cam who's making this film and says, "Stop making a bloody film! There's more important things going on." God's sake!
There's more important than putting all this pointless information on YouTube.
But we love talking about it, so we're going to talk about it, goddammit.
And there isn't an apocalypse, so it's fine.
Yeah, and it's not happening yet, but I'm sure someone in a country somewhere will create a chemical weapon that will turn us all into flesh-eating zombies. Anyway, now on to the final part of the saga. People have kind of hailed as being a really, really poor and terrible film. And don't get me wrong, the acting isn't fantastic, but it's still relevant nonetheless. And which one's that one, Boyle?
Survival of the Dead.
And what happens in that one?
There's two groups of people. There's a group of people who believe in a god, keeping all the zombies alive, thinking that they're eventually going to come back to humans by their god sending...
He will save us all! Hallelujah!
And there's another group of people that says, we have to kill all these people, or they're just going to infect this entire island.
Yeah. I don't care if your mum's been turned into a zombie, she needs a bullet in her head. There's a really, really interesting bit. There's a bit where there's a postman who's a zombie on a chain, and all he does is walk backwards and forwards to a post box, putting post in, walks back. Kind of interesting, that kind of goes back to the Dawn of the Dead idea, where obviously in Dawn of the Dead you've got zombies pushing shopping trolleys, but in this one you've got zombies who were postmen posting letters.
I think this is also building up to just before Day of the Dead were starting to remember what they did, or well, their instinct of what they did before they were undead.
That just because you're a zombie, it doesn't mean you're a bad person.
You're not even a person. You're not a bad living undead
organism
and stuff
of some kind. There's a discussion ongoing throughout this film. Why don't zombies eat dogs? Why don't zombies eat cats? By the end of the film, there's a big revelation where the zombies actually do end up eating a horse. Yay! The zombies are going to stop eating us. They're going to start eating livestock instead. So
they were wrong.
Keep an eye out for your doggies, your cats, your cows, your pigs, because your zombies might eat them. So don't forget to take Skippy off his chain in his kennel, let him in the house, otherwise he's going to get eaten by the local zombie. But I think that's about it. I think I've enjoyed chatting about this today.
Me too.
Yeah, we both love these films. We do highly, highly recommend them. Just remember, when you're looking for these films, just read the box carefully because there's an awful lot of bad remakes out there. One of them is the remake of Day of the Dead, starring
people we don't even know.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's a vegetarian zombie, people. A goddamn vegetarian zombie. But nonetheless, watch the full saga of George A. Romero's zombie movies. We enjoy them. We hope you enjoy them. Just remember, keep a sick bag nearby, because some of it's pretty nasty. Thanks very much for watching, guys.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thanks very much for watching, guys. Peace out, and we'll see you next time.
See you in the next video. Bye.